What's up, Carla?
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Carla, this is an important episode for a couple of reasons.
Okay, please share.
Well, we're going to debrief last week's leadership journeys.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show some awesome pictures. You and Carlos and I did this after South by Southwest. It's
Yes,
actually
we
kind
did.
of fun. And this is the last episode of season 2 of Cup of Joy Cafe.
I wish I had the sound. Like the wah, wah, wah. Yeah.
That's not the correct sound.
No, I don't think it'd be sad because it's the last episode.
Yeah, but that's like something went wrong sound.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
but
But
I guess this is off the cuff. Like, what were some of we had some really cool episodes this season. Like, remember Elliot in the airport? Great
we had
conversation with Kelly Nichols, I recall.
wow, yes.
The conversation with Misha.
Misha.
Yeah.
Our Met visit conversation that was recent though, but I just
Yep.
remember that being like all over the place.
Yeah. Remember we learned from Zach, the founder of Student Voice, about his new enterprise, really lifting up local leaders, which I think was great. So it's been a really cool. We started out. I think we started out with Jeff Palladino. Yeah.
Did we really?
Yeah, this has been a long season. I think we started in January.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots and 2 people per week, so it's a lot of guests.
So I guess that's to say, like, if you're watching if this is your first experience with a Cup of Joy, go back to the playlist on YouTube and watch. So they're only 10 minutes long, folks. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes you might see the same guest over and over again, like our guest today.
Yes, one of my favorites.
Let's welcome the king, the prince, the man, Naseem. Welcome once again to the Cup of Joy Cafe. We're live, by the way, just so you know.
What's up, y'all? What's up,
Welcome.
BPL family? What's up, family all over the nation, all over the world? Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Always good to be here with y'all.
It's
Guys,
nice to see you.
let's queue up. Let's queue up while you're here today. We saw you last week in San Diego.
Yeah.
You were not only present for our most recent leadership journeys, but you were one of our leaders sharing their journey.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Probably one, a very memorable experience and something.
It was.
Yeah, something that I will hold near and dear to my heart for many years to come.
Carla and I were sharing that when we did this at South by Southwest, she and Carlos and I, the week after, for the Cup of Joy, we just like threw up some pictures of the event and just reflected on them. So I think that's what we're going to do again today with you.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are both of you ready?
Yes.
I might shed some tears, but
all right. I'm mostly going to moderate. I might jump in every once in a while, but I want to hear both of your reflections on some of the photos. Okay. Here we go.
Let's do this.
All right. This is before everything started. So like behind the scenes, Carla just like chilling with some dude, Dr. Christopher Emden, like getting ready. Like what's happening right here?
We were going through slides, and so behind the scenes, right before we get on stage, before everything starts, I go over with our panelists, just kind of like what they've prepared. And so just making sure that everything's in order.
And then, no, that's fine. And then not similarly, and I guess I asked this because we're friendly with Chris Emden, but I imagine it still must be sort of otherworldly to just be like sitting next to him and like chilling and having a conversation. Is that fair, Naz?
Yeah, I think I told Dr. Emden, my brother Chris, I don't think I've ever told him, but he's somebody I look up to, especially like outside of the like in the education space, but just as a man, as like, a big brother, a mentor, somebody that, I see the work that he's done and how he's dedicated to the movement. And yeah, it's just always a pleasure and an honor, and always grateful to be able to share space and just learn and grow so much every time I'm in the same room as him. So yeah, I guess we hopped on live. So he hopped on IG Live, and we kind of were just fellowshipping and talking about some of the things that we were going to talk about during the leadership journey session. So
Nice.
that's what you see there.
All right, let's talk about our speaker leaders. So Carla, let's talk about Ghislaine from the Nellie Mae Education Foundation and what she brought to the table, to the stage, to the stages.
Yeah, there's just this level of like authenticity and realness, and it felt like, well, I spent I think the Sunday leading up to leadership journeys getting to know her a little bit more at dinner at L's, and I felt like we had known each other since like college or something. But in this space, it was like home. It was culture. It was movement. It was joy. It was being unapologetically like who she is. And that's one thing I'm taking away from her experience at leadership journeys.
And I don't mean to reduce her presence to fashion, but can we check out those shoes for a moment? Like rocking the shoes. I love them.
Yeah, the blazers are fire.
Nas, I'm not going to make you talk about yourself. I if you don't mind, I would like to reflect on your presence.
Please do.
Listen, let's be frank. You were the greenest person that we've ever had on leadership journeys. The youngest, you can argue, the least experienced, but you brought an emotional resonance to this that we have never experienced before. And tribute to you for that, man. You just like opened the door, opened your heart, and I think made our other more seasoned leaders also have to sort of question whether they were even going deeply enough in their own journey. So thank you. It was Carla. Add.
Yeah, well, being someone who's like super behind the scenes right on this, and having seen so many leadership journeys, I was like, what, not like questioning like what is Nas going to bring, because I know what you were bringing, which is, you know, why you're a speaker. But the moment I was crying, Naseem, like I don't think you know, I've never cried at a leadership journeys, but literally like sobbing. So that was just memorable experience. And so yeah, thank you for that.
I don't know who watched these Cup of Joy things. You know, I don't know who was present at leadership journeys. I have some idea. I will share that Nas has said, not just to me, but to the world, you envision yourself as a public speaker, among other things. So do you mind me like pushing you out to the world? Like you should have Nas like on your stage, like telling his story, your story. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself as your agent, if you don't mind, Nas, because
That's fine. That's fine with me. You got the cosign.
All right, let's talk about our MC, Melissa Aguadello, who we know from the San Diego Met, but is now at Lincoln High School in San Diego. Carla, what did Melissa bring to the show, bring to the table, bring to the floor?
Energy. One, energy. Two, she was really just getting people like hyped. Like we need to dance. Like let's celebrate. Let's bring this joy to the floor. She was, I think, everything that I could have imagined in having an MC in San Diego. Someone who's already seen the show, but there's just so much. The only way for me to express it is joy and happiness and celebration and in Melissa, and that radiated across the room, I believe.
Nas, you have a reflection here?
Yeah, I think something that wasn't seen on the forefront that Melissa was doing as we were prepping and taking breaks, like music breaks. Melissa would go around and kind of check on the speakers, check on us, give us words of encouragement, hugs, just uplift us in that space as we were sharing our stories. So I just want to give a shout out to her for that, because that was super helpful in just pushing us through and just making us feel comforted, making us feel supported in that space as we were continuing. So shout out to Melissa, sending you love from DC to San Diego. Hope to see you again soon.
And I will say this with so much love, Melissa, if you watch this, as a fellow shorty, to have you, you are a larger than life character, and I admire your confidence and the way that you ran that show. Thank you for representing. You're so fun to be around and like energetic, but also emotional to the core. All right, but back to this idea of emotional resonance. Nas, I also cried. I don't think any of us expected it. We have this thing at Leadership Journeys. If you've not been there, at the end of each sort of section, there's a dance break, right? And I would say if I were not in Carlos Moreno's shoes, I might have said something to the effect of like, "This doesn't feel like the right time to take a dance break." But Carlos like flipped it and said, "This is the absolute exact time to celebrate and take a dance break." So, can we give much love to our MC, Carlos Moreno, who has done this now 5 times? Nas, you go first.
Yeah, I think where we come from, you know, Bronx, just me and Los have very similar backgrounds, and that's how my family, my village would have done that same exact thing in that space. So when we shared that heartfelt moment and it came to a close, I didn't expect anything different but that.
Yeah.
You know, to uplift our ancestors, our loved ones in that space. And I think I don't know if I should share this, but I think even before, as we were prepping, something that Carlos said to us is, as the MC, my job is to protect you in that space. And he did just that. So, you know, much love to my brother Carlos. Yeah, I could say so much more, but I'm gonna just leave it at that.
I think you'll have another chance in just a second. So, but one thing I want to shout out is it's happened time and time again. We start with our leaders on stages, and we don't tell them at some point we expect you to come down, but inevitably they always do, and I think that humanizes the entire experience. Like Chris Emden, we can talk about his celebrity and what he means to all of us, but he stepped down from the stage, got down, and literally got down and got down, right? So I guess Carla, talk about this not only in the space we were in, but like this has happened time and time again, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of like what you just said. It's really really cool to, you know, like the stage kind of, you know, elevates people, and in a way it's kind of like distinguishes, like, this is our speaker and you are the audience. But in doing that, like you mentioned, it does bring people together and closer, and in a way it brings Chris, like, you're one of us, like, you really are. And he also had people dancing too, and so I I really loved that moment. I was like, "Oh, he's down there," because I didn't see him on the stage at that point during that break. So I was really happy to celebrate that.
And adding on to that, like this is what that turns into. Like this to me is kind of like a Renaissance painting where like I have looked at this picture so many times, and each time I look at someone else's face and like how they're reacting. Like Carla, you're in there, and Nas, you're in there. I took the picture, but I'm not in there, but I was down on that floor. Like I have a second picture that goes along with this one because I shot them very quickly, and just to see like the faces of the folks that are dancing and enjoying themselves and being part of the experience. I love this picture, and it's interesting because like my aperture might have been wide open because it feels lighter than the experience actually was.
Yeah.
But I'll stop talking. Like what is it? What do you see in this picture? Like where is your eye drawn, Naseem?
I think it's funny because when I see this picture, when you mentioned like a Renaissance painting, it reminds me of Chris's album cover, the Camp Low album cover. And it's I'm forgetting the artist, but it's inspired by a specific artist, a Black artist specifically. I'm just blanking on the name right now, but it reminds me of that, like just like folks dancing and like in community. So yeah, it was just great energy, and just everybody, like, it was just amazing to hop off the stage and everybody just dancing and having a blast, even after, you know, after everybody was done speaking.
Yeah. What about you, Carla?
Yeah, I think of, so similarly to what Nas you just shared, but it reminds me of um being able to celebrate beyond, I don't know, like trauma, and just like what music and dance does to people in hard times, bringing community together and just kind of like letting loose and not worrying about what's happening outside of this space. for any leadership journeys, but to kind of see this, and I know this is towards the end, and I think it might be at the end itself, but it's kind of like, this is what we do this for, to have folks in this space who are here for a reason, you know, outside of leadership journeys, but it's like, you're letting loose, you are in a safe space, and the outcome, right? Like the body's going to do what the body needs to do. And in this case, it's dancing. So
Yeah.
Makes me smile.
Nice. And just to wrap, I mean, this is all of us, right? Like, this is a team that pulls this off. And we haven't talked about Mickey Breeze, but he is I mean, he's in the center of this picture, because in many respects, like, if he's not keeping it down, like, leadership journeys falls apart. Like, it just, in some ways, I think he does have a tendency to sort of like blend into the background unless you're paying attention. Like, all of the audio is through his system. And then there's the rest of us. So, like, it's such a pleasure to have been part of this once again with all of you. And you know, I don't know, I could ramble, but anything you all want to say about this photo or the team?
I, just to add on to what you said about DJ Mickey Breeze, like, he's a super important piece of this leadership journeys experience, because he's telling a story through his music, right? Every time we go through a break, that song that he drops matches the energy of what those speakers have just shared. And like, he's just like taking those who are in community with us on a journey from start to finish through his music and through his art. So big shouts out to him.
I just think this is just such a good looking group. It's always different, right? We always have different speakers, but there's just something about it being, for me, especially in San Diego, with folks that just I really love. So it feels really good.
Nice. Whew, so this has already been one of our longer episodes. So like, it at the sake of like wrapping up, I'm not saying we would usually kick you at this point, because like Carla and I are the hosts, but man, you've been such an integral part of this, and you came on a little bit late, and I just wanted to reiterate, this is our last episode of season 2. So we're going to probably break until maybe around June. We're ramping up for Big Bang, and that's going to take up a lot of our time. So there will be some time between now and the next episode, but we wanted to thank you for being a constant presence, a regular guest. So we're gonna keep you here while we close. So let's any parting words on any topic at all. You'll also know, like, we after like 30 episodes, like, we still awkwardly wrap this thing up. So whatever. Go ahead, Nas.
Oh, for me? So just want to share with everyone, I'm in the midst of prepping for law school finals. That's why I was late. I was getting out of class. And so please send all the positivity, send all the peace, love, blessings, happiness my way as I prepare for finals and push towards the close of my first year of law school. Thank you. That's my closing. Yeah.
Yes. Congrats, Nas. That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Close of your first year.
Carla, since we're gonna be off the air for a while, any wise words you want to share?
I'm gonna share. Find some time to do what brings you joy and to do what makes your heart full. And remember to be kind to others. And wear lots of sunscreen.
I need to get better at that, for real. And I will say, make it a great day. The choice is yours.
Thanks.
Cup of joy, baby.